Welcome back to Alchemy Factory. My name is Nilaus, and we are here with our 11th episode, actually. So it's been quite a let's play here, and what I want to do today is I want to do something new, something we haven't done before. Another whole system that is in this game that is just kind of hidden away, but incredibly weird and complex and deep and interesting. That is, as you can see, we are going to be making a cauldron because we are alchemists, so we're going to be making a cauldron. How does this monstrosity work? Well, there are 3 recipes and it's super weird. So basically you can just put random things in here and then you get some other random thing. Like, okay, there we go. If I put this in, I get that. Okay, maybe this. Okay, well, maybe if I put something that's a little more valuable, maybe that one. Ooh, look at that. Then we get sulfur out. This is not a very valuable thing. So if we put something more valuable, no, not really. But maybe steel is more valuable. That could, no, it doesn't really get any further up than that. What about this one? Nope, I can't really get further up. Maybe. So basically how this works is that you put 3 things in, 3 different things preferably. Then based on that, it gets you another thing. And there's a heat consumption. This is quite a lot actually. And the way that this, or the intention of this, is that every item has sort of a value, a cauldron value, and you add the cauldron values up, and then you get the output that corresponds to it. So it's a matter of sort of finding some good values and then sort of getting a sense of it. Or you can just use the link that I'm hopefully remembering to put in my description, where there's a really good calculator where you can just sort of look through all the recipes because there are a lot. But the general idea is that if you want to get something, you kind of have to sort of figure out what is a good recipe for it. So I've been messing around a little bit with it, and I want to show you a good recipe that we have, because let's have a look at our quest, our tree here. So what we really like to do is we want to finish up this tech tree. We want to make some black powder, we want to make some malachite, and we want to, of course, make some growth potions. Growth potions consist of chamomile, which is just a plant, so that's easy, and then a lot of clay powder, and clay powder is super annoying, and then some brine, which is easy. That's just salt and water, salt in an extractor. So this is an easy recipe, but the annoying part is getting all the clay. Then we have the malachite, which is the impure copper and some clay. So again, clay, and the clay powder, and the black powder here is getting this one. So it's the sulfur, and then a lot of charcoal, and then some brine. So the sulfur is coming from pyrite here. This is how we get it. And then we have an excess iron amount. So this is also kind of annoying because the pyrite ore costs 11. So it gets really expensive to get this. And you also get a lot of iron junk. So if we could get black powder in a different way, that would be lovely. So we don't have to deal with the sulfur and don't deal with the charcoal build. So that's our objective, is to find some recipes that we can use for the different things. So what I really want to do is I want to find a good clay recipe. Oh, it's because I put it in here. I want to find a good clay recipe, and I want to find a good black powder recipe. Those are the only ones, because not everything can be generated. Like, for example, potions can't, trade goods can't generate it. So you need to make them into the intermediates. So let me find some appropriate recipes here. So I think I have something good here. We have, in order to make clay, you cannot make clay powder, but you can make clay. And it is super cheap sage, super cheap flax, and iron ingots, which is easy to get. So we got clay, but we only get 25. And that is currently a little more than a quarter of a belt. So we need 4 of these if we want to get a full belt of clay. And then we need to process it to make it clay ore. So that doesn't seem bad. So if I want to, and this is of course one of these into one of these, and it can just process. Also not very many P values here. This one is another one. Sand, dirt cheap. It's just crushed stone. Coal, that's just crushed coal ore. And then bandage, which we already have a pretty good build for, since we already have that. So this one can be producing 20 per minute, the build we have for the contract. And we can get out here, well, I don't think it's 20 actually, it's 15 we can do, but it's a little bit more than this black powder. So this is looking really nice for me. That means we have a great way to make black powder, which is a great fuel values. Look at that, 3600 P values for fuel. And the clay will be used for our for both malachite and for the growth potion. Then Man, I wanted one of these because I want to test this one. We want to get some XP. So I want to go over here and jump on in and get, you know what, we'll just take both of these. There we go. We're going to be sacrificing 2 Saturns for some XP. They will each sell for something, but oh, I already have a lot of them in inventory. So now this one is processing, and then it gets, for the first iteration, it gets, it takes 20% each craft, and you can actually take the partial one and put it back into the, back into the creator, and then sort of have it fill up again. So it's basically using some kind of percentage of it. So also if you have the partial percentage, you can use this, and you can see now we got 2 skill points, and we're gonna get skill points pretty quickly here in the beginning, and that will definitely help us. And let's see, I'm gonna get one more. Bing. There, let's see, how many do we have now? We have 3 unallocated points, and I really want to get 4 because then I can speed up my logistics and speed up my factory build, and then everything just gets a much nicer recipes. And you can see now it needs more than a whole one. So yeah, well, this one gives, how much does it give? It gets 71.5 XP for each, and I'm just going to feed one more in so that we get the 4th skill point, because then we get some different values for everything basically, and it'll just be nice. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Confirm. That means now our belts are 120, and we can see that here. Belts are 120, and production speed, now this is 33, and a belt is 120. That's just really nice numbers to work with. Much simple than before. And this is 19, which is almost 20, but only 19. So let's start figuring out how to do a design for this cauldron here. What do we need inbound? So we need to get, this one comes out at 33, or at least at 30. So we need to get it in, get this built at 30. Oh, new skill points. Oh, we're just rolling in skill points right now. Let's see. So this is the iron one here. This is producing at 20. So actually we should start by figuring out what it is we want to make, because there are 2 things. We want to make, well, the black powder we can get, you know how to do that, so we're not going to do that yet. We want to go for this one here. So that's made in an advanced blender. Let's go for an advanced blender and see where we can find one of these. That is an advanced blender. Thank you. So this one should be our benchmark. There. This will do 120 clay powder and some chamomile tea. Chamomile tea is not going to be a problem. Chamomile tea, it's just chamomile. Because as soon as we use this growth potion for feeding it, then this one can easily keep up with 40 per minute. So no problem there. That's easy. This one, brine, is just some salt. So we also need that. But the clay powder, that's the big issue here. I'm kind of wondering if I should focus on this powder first, because that might be easy. No. Let's try to make a build for this. And we also need to do an athanor for the malachite. So the malachite will be built here. So we need to see what that would be like. 60. So now that's a half belt. So we need a half belt. And so that means if we could build a design that could make 60 clay or clay powder, that would be great. Oh, we also need impure. Interesting. So this, I need 3 of these. And there. So each of these are producing 20. So it's 60, which is 2 cauldrons. Like that. So 2 cauldrons going in. Then what else is it needed? It's needed some flax and some sage. And I just need, that is not going to be a big deal. So we just go over here and pick up a little bit of each. It's just going to be 1 of each because it will be easily able to handle enough. Inventory full, of course it is. I must have something I don't care about. Why do we have so much bricks? That's 1 of each seed. And let me get 1 more of each. Good. So, that would be this one, which would easily be fast enough, and 1 of these, which will also easily be fast enough. So basically, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for these two, these three, plus these two into a build. And yeah, should be doable. So what I've now built is actually two builds next to each other that both deliver 120 clay powder, because that's kind of what we need. And it was a little bit of a tricky thing. I like this way of putting things in here. I'm basically having one belt going up here and another belt coming out here. Then another belt is going up, sort of sneaking below and then going up. So this is all very good. I'm producing 120 iron that comes in from these. I get 120 from here and 120 from here. So all these things are producing at exactly 120, and the thing is they're consuming a little bit more than 120. So if this is continuously working, as it is now, then it is actually, it will, yeah, it will actually empty this gradually. So the other thing is, this is the straightforward build, or I don't know if I can straightforward, but just like the normal build that I took out of one of the previous builds that we had and just put on some grinders. So basically you can see that they take up about the same space, and yeah, they're probably about as good. So now the question becomes more about, like, this is not like magical and you get everything for free. It's just an alternative way of doing it. Now, there is one thing about the Cauldron that you have to be really aware of, and that is the case that it can actually get into trouble. Because you can see here that this one, the iron here, or well, all of them will gradually work their way down. And of course, they're going to be used in equal amounts. But what this means is that as this one trends towards 0, maybe this flax is just can stay up here because whatever, this is coming in faster on the road. So it's one of the first places that it unloads flax, for example, but it's the last place that it unloads iron. So, you know, just the ratios of filling up a manifold. So you can see this goes gradually downwards. What can happen is if this one goes out, then this happens. And that's a problem because there was just something on the belt and this one is weaving in here. And then we get the stone instead, and that means this is why you saw earlier that we actually had, like before, we had a little bit of sand in here. There we go. So we get sand. So that means we actually have a chance to get things polluted. The only way to 100% guarantee that this does not happen is to make sure that the input materials is higher for all of them, is higher than the output. So here I'm putting 120 in, but I'm consuming 3 times 33.3. So that's more. So this means that it will gradually empty, and that means whatever sort of imbalance there is on the belts, or sort of how we fill up the manifold, I can actually risk actually getting out. So even though this is a cool new build, it's not very appropriate here. And therefore I'm going to go with the normal build, the old build instead. So what do we want to do with this? So yeah, it's cool, but for this one, it's a little bit too risky, to be honest. What I want to build is something out here. Let's see. This needs 120 clay powder, which is just something we have right here. I think it's also important sometimes to do some designs, and even if the designs turn out not to be the best ones, then still sort of acknowledge that they exist and that we have tried them. So this chamomile, if I put some, do I not have fertilizer somewhere in my inventory? No. Guess I used it. Let's just get a little bit of fertilizer because we'll see this. Oh, right. Hold on. This is not correct because this has to be chamomile powder. And so I need to figure out how fast we are powdering the chamomile. What about in one of these? And I actually have this one. 40. Perfect. So this is actually like that. Easy. Good thing I didn't have to sort of get extra spaces for it, but this one's here. But if I take my fertilizer, we only get 24. But what if instead of getting that, we are actually getting the growth potions? So that means that the growth potions would be, which one's the output? Copy, switch here, and I'm gonna get a, where are you? That one goes here, and that goes into this. Boop. And then I have to go that over here, and that means we also need here, there's that one, and then also a storage like that. Great. So that will be somewhere into one of these, whichever one is available, and this is looking great. So the only thing we're missing is actually the brine, and what I want to do with the brine, I actually want to build it up here, but unfortunately this line of gold or silver, I want to take that out. So I need to take that out over on this side. I want to do it in a way that I can use this. And 1, 2, and so this is going to be the same because I am going to need this up top, but I just don't want it to go here. So I want this one to go here, and then we can sneak it out. Come on. There. Oh, right. This one has to go different. And we sneak the money in this way instead. So kill this money belt, kill this money belt, and then it's actually a much better design, this one. Instead of bringing it up, then just bring it around like this. There. And I think that has to go out as well. No. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There we go. And the money belt goes in, and this is gonna keep working because it gets the money belt in. Good. So the money belt is now taken care of, but I'm also getting it up here, which I need, but not really for the stuff that I planned on here. Oh no, oh no. There. This one and this one. So what I want to do is I want to go up here because we need some salt. Oops, fall down. I think we can jump on these ledges here. So this will make salt, which is expensive, but let's try it. And let's get some crushers for this. 1, 2, no, I think I might want to need all the space I can get over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and these will produce 20 of each of the salt. And oh no, okay, so it produces 20 salt and 20 sand. So we need to get rid of the sand somehow. Luckily we can always just refine it if we want to, and then we get it into crude shards, which will be useful. And we just climb back up here. And I guess just for in the name of symmetry, I want to do it this way, even though it gets more salt on the belt. Ew, that's a lot of expensive salt. Yeah, I don't like that. We want to minimize the amount of salt we keep here because it's so expensive. There we go. So I'm going to get this out on the side, and I'm going to get you out. So this is, remember, this is a mixed belt. So what do we want to do with this mixed belt? We want to go into extractors, and they're going to be here. How many extractors do we need? I guess we need some salt to figure this out. So there must be some salt in here in the shop that I can just snatch somewhere. There. We'll just mark that as something else. So we get some salt we can use for testing. There. And you are going to get 600 and something. Oh, that's weird. I think it's just supposed to be 600. So if it's 600, 30 inbound becomes 600. That means each one becomes 20. And how much do I need? I need 80 in order to get 1600. Yes. And then I just have, because I wasted some points here. So I need 8 of these, right? 600 for 1, 1200. So I need 3 of these actually. That's not so bad. That means I could do them like this. Except that I now need to make sure that I deselect. Need the filter splitter. like this. And I'm gonna get salt on top. Oh, sand on top. This one, I'm gonna filter out the sand. That's not sand. Oh man, everything looks the same here. That's sand. There. This should be the other stuff, yeah. So now I need to don't like this. So I think I've figured it out, but I'm not super happy about it because I'm kind of missing a storage, but I'm just going to put it into a cannon, which will just shoot down here, and then it'll be processed into some broken shards that we can use later on. Let's have this one enabled. Are we building at the right place? Yes. So this one is working. All we need is this very expensive build for rock salt, which will hopefully get us something. There, we get us the rock salt. There we go. Let's see if they filter correctly, or I have to panic. Yes, they filter correctly. There we go. And that gets a little bit of inbound here. And we get some salt just thrown over to this location, so it gets processed. Perfect. And over here, we are now getting almost everything. The reason why this one's not getting anything is because it doesn't have any fertilizer, and it's not going to get any fertilizer in until it actually gets started on using the growth potion. So I do need like to kickstart this one, which I will. Getting a little bit in, and it's not going to produce enough, but soon it will. There we go. It produces the first one, which goes blasted back in. And then we should see, there we go. Oh, that was actually not, yeah, okay, it goes up to 120 now, but it won't last very long on 120, even this potion, but it doesn't need to produce 120 consistently. So there we go. This one goes in, and we should now hopefully be able to sustain this. We will be able to sustain it. I know, but it does kind of look a little bit concerning right now that it's stuck because of lack of fertilizer. Oops. There. But this is lasting a lot shorter than I'd like. The cow mill is super expensive. Okay, but we're still producing some. Yay! And we're still producing that one. So this is working. It would be nice to actually supplement it, but it will eventually get there. It's just right now all of it is going in here. The half of it goes here, a quarter goes in here, and a quarter goes in here. So it's only a quarter that gets fed in here. And we might actually need a little bit more to keep it flowing all the time, apparently. But that works. The only thing we sort of have remaining that I really want to do is try to do this one as well. This will give us some black powder, which will sort of complete the end of this this tech tree. For the black powder, we're going to get a build. We're going to need 3 things inbound, sort of like this. So I think this inbound idea here is good. But what we need up front is the build. We have some space here, not a great space, but we can use our design that I made sort of off camera at some point for the bandage build. This one, the bandage contract. So we can actually do this, but doesn't remove the contract part, and then add the other 2 things. The other 2 things being coal and sand in very small quantities. Okay, so we are now stamping this one down. This is our contract for fertilizer, or sorry, for bandages, which we don't need, but we do need something else. So once we have this one out, we are going to get a simple build for this one. This one doesn't actually need a giant build like this. We just need basically this thing here. And that means it needs some inputs. I can get you in. And then basically we need some coal, and I'm thinking that I can use this belt for bringing in coins. There. I am not bringing any kind of fuel in here, so it can be fueled by itself, I suppose. Yeah, I'm gonna cut that out. Okay, so what are we getting in here? This will be, let's pretend that this is money coming in. Right, money coming in here. So that's money, and then what we want is, we need two things. One of them was just a stone grinder. Oh, it has to be first a portal. First a portal. Yeah, we can see that this does not fit there. You're gonna have to go further away. That's fine. So a portal plus that. This will potentially be this coal, which I know I have a little bit of down here. So let's bring some of that in here. Let's get that in here. So that will be the coal, which is one of the ingredients. It could also be, this is producing at 40, which is way too much. So I can just use this for fueling as well. I think that's fine. Yeah. Something like this is probably... not good. Well, maybe. You go out like this and then have that. But then you also go from here. And there we go. So that's one item inbound. The next item inbound here will be the crushed stone. And this, if this is getting stone, then I think I have a stone in here that I can borrow. It was sand that I needed. That comes out. And then if I just make this on this one. Ooh. That's 20 sand. I don't need more than 20 sand. So this is actually okay. Oh, I don't want it here. Like this. This. So I get sand inbound, and it also gets the coal inbound. And then the rest of it is just the bandage. That means the whole thing here could actually be put a little closer. There. That means this part. Here. Coal in here. This one. That one in there. And here it's important again, as I mentioned, you must be able to deliver more than you're consuming. Why is this not working? This is not working because nothing is working. Okay, that's just that one coming in. Let's make sure that comes in first. Okay, that's going to be a lot of fertilization here, which would be nice if we can get some of this one going. 44. And are you saturating? Yes, you're gradually, barely saturating. Perfect. And that's probably also because I now have enough inside here. All right, and this one will then go outbound into just a box. This box isn't really used for much. Like this, and then I need a cannon as well, because that's always need the cannon, because I want this to go back in. Yes, yes, yes. Ooh, I think this should go over here instead. And then that one would go into there. And then I'm just gonna ditch everything. Oh, I can't. I wanted to go into that one, but it doesn't work because now it's potions. So I kind of need to just empty the potions from this, which I'll just empty in here. So when it stops sending potions in, it's already stopped. Then I can go back to that one. Good. And now you can hopefully... So close. So close. Wouldn't it be funny, like the whole thing would just be mirrored image and then it would work? Yeah. Now let's monitor this one. We can see that it goes down to 1. It goes back to 2. Goes down to 1. Goes up to 2. Goes down to 1. And goes up to 2. And you can see it gets to 2 faster than it goes towards 1. So we should see a 3 soon, which means that we're gradually increasing. Because I am producing 20 bandages per minute and I'm only consuming 19 of these. So we should be able to see a little 3 here. There we go. We just saw that 3 flicker, which means that it is accumulating. However, it's not accumulating as long as we're not getting things in here. And this might actually be a little bit of a problem. We're not getting enough inbound here. Our fertilization is just not keeping up. So this might also be something we need to fix with this part. Just to, as long as we get like a little bit of this inbound, these growth potions, they're amazing. Then it'll be just so much better. But this one, I don't even know how it worked because it didn't actually get these. So the first one will be the coal. And actually I want to just feed it some of my stockpile coal here. Do dislike getting keeping these in storage. And the last one here will be the stone, which I don't think I have anything accumulated of. So, and we'll see that the sand here is running out, but it will be coming in pretty quickly. This will be at 20. Okay, so it'll be exactly a little bit more than needed. And again, we want to see this one flow in here. So this will be continuously working, 60 Ps per second. And it just like, yeah, so this must have been a while before it got started. Interesting. Interesting. This is the trick or the challenge with this was as I sort of fill this up. But it shouldn't really happen. Shouldn't, right? But if it could happen if we are unable to keep up with the fertilization with this part. If you can't keep these fertilized, which might be a problem, then it could be potentially an issue. Let me see. The lower level is not actually really saturated either. No. None of these are really... Okay, the first one's saturated, but it's still struggling. Just the second one is not... It's barely getting saturated. So I think we need to get some better fertilization, which is exactly what this is. So let's hand in the quest so we move on with this. We now have the quest, and that's the main quest. 200 silver. It's not as much as it feels like, but we got it. Ta-da! We got a level up, and we can continue. And wasn't I also saying that, oh yeah, I did get this upgrade. So now I have 3 points out here. So what are we going to use those 3 points for? Fertilizer efficiency? Oh yes, definitely fertilizer efficiency. Sales, not really, but fuel efficiency as well. Let me just bounce up the fertilizer efficiency because that's something we definitely need. And we get a new random quest. We get a new main quest, blast potions. That's going to take a little bit of time. And this one, we don't have malachite. So basically what we're missing from this tech level is just is the pocket watch, the malachite, and the Mars. All right, well, we still have things to do before heading into the next tier. So you make sure that you follow the series. It's going to continue as long as there is an interest, and really happy about the interest so far for this quest here, or this series, and just having a ton of fun with it. Let's get a little bit more XP, right? Let's get a little bit more. There. Cool. Thank you for watching. If you like it, hit the like button. Let me know in the comment section if you have good ideas, bad ideas, and what you think about this experimenting with the Cauldron. I think it's cool, but it's a little bit tricky as well. So I think it's a good feature without being overpowered. Until next time, take care, and as always, stay effective.